Hey everybody, we're here with PixelBeasts. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good, good. Trying to get through the week.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. Um, so here I'll put up y'all's website and I will put this in the chat as well for anybody who wants to go check it out. Want to give us like a rundown of what you'll be looking
Yeah,
at?
yeah. So Pixel Beast started really on a whim, right? I was looking up CryptoPunks. That's probably back in like February, March, and I love the idea of drawing on a 24 by 24 canvas because it's so limited. And I used to do some pixel art, so I sat down, opened up Photoshop to like draw for a couple of minutes, and the next thing I knew, 4 hours had passed, and I'd drawn like a few hundred layers. So then the next night I sat down and I was like, at this point, I might as well try to see if I can write some generative code. And the generative code works. So I was like, all right, I got a collection here. And I reached out to a couple of friends, and actually one of my portfolio companies, Creatify, was in the NFT space, and I reached out and said, I'll probably release this. And he was excited to. They were excited to jump on, so we partnered up, and we're pushing out this Pixel Beast 10K collection on Friday.
Awesome. And will there be any sort of pre-mint or will it, or not pre-mint, sorry, pre-sale?
There's an early bird in the Discord channel, and there's a couple ways to get into the early, but we're not doing a whitelist for pre-sale.
Okay.
Oh,
Um, awesome.
I mean, I can
What?
give you a quick overview of the project. Again, it really started on a whim, right? And then as I was about to release it, I thought, okay, I want to play around with building some utility. So I sat down one night and played around with the MetaMask and OpenSea API. And I built a tool called Tango. And the site is just tangonft.com. And it is a private chat room for every NFT collection. So when you log in with MetaMask, it presents you with all the rooms you have access to. So if you have a CryptoPunks, so there's a CryptoPunks room. If you have a more loot, it has a more loot room. And you go into the room, and if you can type a chat, it's in the room, and anybody can use it, and it functions. And I pushed it out, and it got a lot of attention. It got picked up in newsletters. It was kind of the first like cross NFT utility project, and so I decided to open source that, which attracted a lot of developers who were interested in building utility into kind of the community, as well as other VCs. My background is a VC, so I have a lot of kind of VC friends who are interested in the NFT space, but hadn't dove in, jumped in as well. So what Pixel Beasts has turned into is a community of VCs, founders, and developers who are interested in building utility for the NFT space. So in addition to all the visible attributes that you see, like the hats and clothes and stuff, we actually have a whole bunch of invisible attributes as well that are listed toward the bottom. If you go jump to the bottom, there's a list under attributes. So there's a list of invisible attributes in there, which I'm pretty excited about. And these are in there to enhance utility. I don't have a specific plan with them, but every Pixel Beast has a best friend and a nemesis. So that's 5,000 pairs of best friends and 5,000 pairs of nemesis. So we could do an airdrop, but you have to get there before your nemesis. So there's only 5,000 maybe. Or we could do things where you have to find your best friend and like complete a challenge in order to win something. They all have basic D&D character attributes as well as a class, like mage, thief. They have 4 basic elements. They all fit into one basic, Magic the Gathering habitat essentially. They have random attributes X, Y, and Z that are regular, normal, and exponentially distributed, as well as 1 dice roll each for D4, D6, D8, D10, and D12 and D20. So those are all just in there and can be called with the API. I have a couple games in mind. Again, I'm not promising anything. There's no roadmap. It's just me, which I think is a little bit unique about the project. And on day 1, we will have Beastopia, which is kind of the first like Pixel Beast specific utility, which is the kind of GIF you saw above. You can log in with your Pixel Beast, and right now we built Tango NFT into it, so it has a chat room, and it also has token gated chat rooms for every collection within it as well. So if you go to the Chibi Dinos room, or you go to the Woody's room, only people can access it are people who own a Pixel Beast and a Woody's. Right, so it's kind of the first like double token gated rooms on the internet.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, because you have to get access to the site through y'all's
Yeah.
NFT. And
But
from
it
there.
actually, and what's cool about that feature is that it actually is suggested by a community member who was like, hey, I would love to meet other people in this Discord who have, FWB. And then someone was like, oh, why don't you just build Tango into Beastopia? And I was like, that's a great idea. So yeah, we're building alongside the community. Not sure where it's going, but we have a lot of fun ideas. And one thing we've done is just consistently just build utility before launching. So hopefully that's enough for people to get excited and see that we'll build more stuff afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you will have utility on day one, I feel like is already pretty amazing. Like, that's
Yeah.
definitely a sign that more utility is to come. Um,
Yeah, in addition to, so Beastopia itself is a place where PixelBeasts can find out about other utilities. So as I said, I have a lot of founders as well, and a lot of people are building token-gated tools, and they're looking for communities to start trying them out. So we've raised our hands to be the first. So within Beastopia, we have a list of token-gated kind of utilities that you get to try as PixelBeast, and that'll continuously grow. Um, in addition to that, we already have a weekly Beast Up planned. So it's going to be a little 2D pixelated digital world that you can walk around in and jump into small video chat groups with friends. And we'll host a weekly Beast Up is what we're calling it. And that'll also be token gated as well.
I think it's awesome that basically, like, it's just going to be a front row seat into everything you plan to do in the space, which
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is, right? I was looking at the crypto space, and I realized that these startups don't look like other startups. They're raising token rounds before. The way they start kind of is like fuzzy, and it's like a group of friends. And I just realized the way to like learn about the space is to participate. So PixelBeast is my learning journey of Web3 and the metaverse. And yeah, the PixelBeast community is essentially a front row seat into my learning journey.
that's awesome. So I feel like you maybe already said this. Are they generative, or like have you already generated all 10,000?
They're generative in the sense that the computer randomized them, but they're not generated by the transaction ID, if that's what you're asking. Yeah, they're pre-generated.
Okay, and then there's also some questions in the chat. Badger's asking, will we be able to walk around Beastopia eventually? That's a good question.
That is a good question. So the version 1 of Beastup is actually going to use a separate tool, existing tool, so you won't be able to walk around as a pixel beast. But there is a token gated tool that we're talking to that we're looking at building some pixel beasts, right? So you can walk around in Beastopia. What I'm actually more excited about is this massive massive multiplayer fantasy board game that I designed, where everybody's going to be on one big board and you get to move around. So I'm talking to a couple of developers about building that as well. So that won't be one where you walk around, but we'll be rolling a dice and moving through different spaces if that comes to fruition.
That sounds super cool. So sort of like, well, I feel like there are a lot of games I could compare to, but
yeah. Kind of the Monopoly meets Mario Party meets life, but like imagine that on a huge, massive board with up to 10,000 players.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. So got some exciting conversations happening around that.
Batter's got another question. Do you see a Beast dating app evolving out of Beast Ups?
If there's demand, sure, why not? And hopefully we'll get other people to build too, right? So, I mean, anything I build, I'll open source and I'll just put the code out there. So if someone sees something I built and they're like, hey, this could turn into this, they can just take the code and build it, either for the Pixel Beast or for their own NFT community if they want. And really that's part of the goal of the community, is to like build utility, share it, and to get, make it easier for other artists and other collections to build utility for themselves through us sharing kind of our work publicly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sort of like I don't know, like a stepping stone for people to get into the space.
Yeah, it's a learning community. I feel like each of these collections have kind of their own flavor in terms of like what the community is about. And really for us, it's about learning about building utility for NFTs. And actually the other kind of layer that's been interesting is that no code and Web3 have started overlapping as well. So some no code tools are building MetaMask integrations. I suspect there'll be some no-code tools that can kind of pull data directly from the blockchain in an easy format. So some of those founders are jumping into the Discord as well. So hopefully we'll be able to teach people how to build a token-gated website for their own collection without writing any code.
That would be really cool to see.
Yeah.
What are you probably most excited for? I guess in terms of what would be there right at the start. So with the messaging app.
Yep. So Beastopia, I'm excited about. So Beastopia right now has the chat app with the chat rooms in it. It has the list of token-gated utilities that you have. It has a community bulletin board, which is essentially a show zone, but it's for Beast holders. So if you own a Pixel Beast, you can go on and you can post your post your NFT project or post your startup. Because I have a lot of VCs in there, I think it's a good place for founders to talk about the startups they're building, as well as a community calendar. So any Beast can also submit events to the community calendar, and you can find out about other drops or other events or other events that people want to host, either specifically for the Pixel Beast community or like at large, and they just want to invite the community into it.
That's really cool. Badger's another question. Has anyone from the community come forward to offer to create any code from the invisible attributes yet?
Nothing, specifically, but I guess one of the developers that I'm talking to that might want to prototype the board game, we're already talking about leveraging the invisible attributes as well. So, if you land on the same space as your best friend, instead of going into battle or stealing their coins, you can hug, which means both of you get coins.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I feel like that so much you could do with all those different attributes. So that's sort of the goal of the attributes, right? Is to put them there for people to
play with,
build upon.
Yeah, and if there might be another NFT project that has 4 elements: fire, water, earth, and air, and maybe that's the only attribute they use. In which case, they could actually just change the collection ID and let PixelBeasts holder play that game too. So we're hoping we can do those kind of like cross collaborations, right? You could technically
playable in the game, and so would the PixelBeasts.
Exactly. So you could start expanding. If you're building for your community, but you want to do some collaborations, if there's attributes that you can tie together, there's enough random attributes in there that you could, using some math, you could essentially turn this into enough numbers to replace the end project, which I think is 8 numbers. So you could take the 0 through 100, normalize it so it ends up between the same numbers at the end project. So we'll see if people start building these cross NFT utilities. But I'm talking to a couple of people who are interested and exploring some ideas right now.
Awesome. What is Tango Draw?
So yeah, Tango NFT is the private chat app where each collection has their own room. And then after I built that, the chat app was fun, but I thought I'd do a little bit more. And part of building this was, I realized that, hey, there's a lot of collections out there that don't have any utility. If I can build something that gives utility to every project, people who are new to NFTs can experience utility without buying into the right projects. So then, the first big utility I think that kind of got picked up was the bake bathroom wall. Where Bored Apes could go in and draw whatever they wanted. So Tango Draw is essentially that bathroom wall for every collection. So if you go to tangonft.com/draw, you'll see a list of all the collections that have started a drawing. So this is Tango NFT. If you go to /draw, you don't even need to log in. At the top, you'll see select collection. And I think the ENS room, the top one, has the most number of dots on it. You go to ENS room, this is a collective drawing by people who own an ENS. And if you hover over the pixels, you can see which ENS name actually dropped which pixel. Again, it's just a fun way to showcase what NFTs can do.
So if I own one, I could...
If you own one, you can go into the room and you can add a dot. Or you should be able to, but there may be some escape errors if you have an ENS and it's not showing up. If you click on any of those, it should show you likely empty ones. And it's purposely designed so it's hard to draw. So you actually have to pick the box, which is 1 through 10,000.
Let's do a blue one.
Oh.
Oh, it's 1 through 10,000?
Yeah, because there's 10,000 squares. So it's really hard to draw something.
Multiple for the same for the same asset, or I guess this is 10,000 squares for the 10,000 items. Then like,
yeah, so you're picking the
item.
pixel by the square number. Oh, and you can, if you own more than one NFT in a collection, you can choose which NFT to leave the dot as. So when people hover over the pixels, they'll see that specific NFT.
So I get like, if I have, how many are here? I had 7, so I could drop 7 pixels.
No, you can drop as many as you want. You can choose who to drop it as. So as people hover over it, they'll see that specific one. So like in the ENS room, as you hover over pixels, you'll see ones that say yohei.eth, right? And those are the ones that I colored. But if I had 2 ENS names, I could pick the other one. And when I hover over that pixel, it'll show me that.
Can someone color over me? Or
yes, if someone colors over you, it'll show their color and their ID instead of yours. And I don't even store historical ones; they just overwrite yours.
Okay.
It was a database decision. It was easier to design. It was easier to build that way.
The last one is talk.
Yeah, so this one's the most hackiest, just because like by my third project I was a little bit tired. But if you connect with a MetaMask, it's a chat app where you can shoot a message to somebody. And it should have already kicked off a message to me automatically, because I'm kind of the John from MySpace in this case. And you just jumped on. So if I go in and type "hey" and send it to you, if you refresh that chat, I don't even know how you refresh. If I just click on my ID again, or
whoops,
that's fine. Yeah, so there's our active chat.
That's awesome.
And if you type in a wallet ID and search, like it'll find that wallet and you can send them a message. I mean, no one's using it, so I think distribution is key, but it's still interesting to see it build. And open sourcing this code gives people a sense of like how you build something like this.
Yeah, because I could go here and just like look up somebody who's already here, and then like I could just go chat with them if we wanted to collaborate on what they're
exactly
build something out of it. That's cool. There's definitely a lot to play with.
Yeah, so I mean, all 3 of these kind of Tango projects are one that I built myself, and it was really fun. And what's great is that after I pushed out Tango and open sourced it, I had people who were better developers than me go in and fix my code. So hopefully we'll continue to see that trend within the PixelBeasts community. And that's what I'm seeing is people are excited to build alongside each other.
This is cool. So I can just go here and nobody's chatting.
So now if you go into, it's because you have CryptoFinny. If you went into Beastopia, there would be a CryptoFinny room for Beastopia. And if anybody else who owned a PixelBeasts owned a CryptoFinny, there would be a room specifically for you guys.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And so this would just fill up as people chat in here. And I guess even I would need to look up like this.
Yeah, you would have to look that person up
and find
and find the wallet. I mean, in theory, you could set but you could design it so that you could just message that person directly. But yeah, the ENS room is the busiest in Tango. I mean, it's mostly just people saying GM. This is cool.
That's cool. Badger wants to know what the next Tango app is going to be.
I don't know. I feel like 3 good Tango apps was a good start. We'll continue to kind of clean up the code and push it out and open source all of them. I haven't open sourced all of it yet. So open sourcing all 3 would be next. Right now, Beastopia has been my focus on building that out. So I have some very specific PixelBeasts utility. And I guess next is let's see if we can get this game off the ground. I think that would be the most exciting thing. Is to see if I can get a fantasy board game. And probably the way I would build is like just to start with a prototype that you can kind of playground, jump in on, and then take it from there.
Badger just sent me his address to show chatting.
Oh,
That's cool.
cool. And see,
I,
you see what he owns right underneath. Again, like the design's sloppy because I was pretty tired at night. I was like, I'm just gonna get a wallet-based messaging app to work, but this one took me again probably like 2 nights to kind of hack together.
it's still really cool.
Yeah, thanks.
And the utility's there. So
Yeah, I mean that's what it was about. It was about just like prototyping and showcasing utilities. It's not just JPEGs.
oh, one thing I didn't ask, what's the mint price going to be? Right.
0.045 ETH. Probably still
Okay.
low. This is for me. This was always about introducing NFTs to people, so I wanted to keep it on the lower end of mint prices because I think the gas fees will surprise the first time buyers, anyways.
Yeah, that's very true. I
Yeah, so
mean,
it'll be 8:30 on Friday
people
as
order
when
in the,
hmm?
what'd you say?
I was saying yeah. So we'll go live at 8:30 a.m. on Friday, and their early bird link will drop in the Discord, and there's a couple ways to get early bird. So if you jump in the Discord, you can poke around and find it.
Awesome.
Yeah. What else is there? Oh, in addition to the 41 base beasts, there's also a handful of one-on-ones that I'm excited about that I have never shown, but all the beasts are mostly like real animals, and the mythical one-on-ones are there's a couple of mythical and non-real creatures mixed in there. So those are the fun rare ones. So if you get an animal that's not a real animal, then you got a good one.
Yeah, don't think it's bad.
Yeah.
I feel like that'll happen sometimes in collections. People pull like the best item and then they're like, oh, this isn't as cool as the other ones.
There's
But
one of one that just does not look as
it's
cool,
different.
but there's a good story behind it. Oh.
Badger, another question. Any plans for the next drop already?
No specific plans. Got to get through this one, but plenty of ideas. I think upgraded. These are all great questions. No, I don't know. I mean, all of this is possible.
Would the developers be able to build something if it like somehow required like combining two, or would that be
we
not?
can build that. We have the mechanics in place to be able to combine and do stuff. Combine and burn, and there's ways to do that. So, I'm absolutely open to it. I definitely do want to do more future drops. Depending on how this game goes, it'll probably likely be tied to the game itself. Probably some items to give you some boosts in the game. It's probably most likely be the next drop.
That's cool.
Uh,
Is there going to be any sort of like leveling system for maybe like chatting a certain amount or something like that? Oh, and then also will the like 101 special ones that are in there have any added utility?
no, not to begin with, but eventually, yeah. Like in-game mechanics, I'll treat them separately, and they'll have some special stuff. Again, honestly, I'm open to ideas as well. I'm listening to people as they give me suggestions, and we're coming up with a plan as we go, which I think is what's most exciting.
Yeah.
I've always been more of a what I consider a jazz player type of artist than a classical player. So my favorite type of art is when I don't expect it to happen that way.
I feel like that's often when people create some of the coolest art.
No, I agree. I mean, PixelBeasts, the whole thing was kind of on a whim. And again, Tango was on a whim, Beastopia was on a whim. So I'll just keep building stuff that inspires me, and I'll do it quickly and fast when it comes.
Well, it's cool that you're building stuff that you like as well, because then like there's no worry they're going to stop building.
Exactly.
You
And
enjoy
what's
doing.
and what's great is like my ability to build like has a limit. Like I do I run a venture fund during the day and I'm hacking away at night. But what's been super promising is just the level of people who are building really cool stuff on their own already and are looking for projects to integrate with them. So one of the 2D metaverses that we're planning on walking around in, like that's a full-on startup. That's building it. So it'll be available for every collection, but we'll just probably want to be the first to be on it. So I suspect that a lot of the coolest utility outside of the game, assuming that happens, will be built by other people. I guess technically the game will also be built by other people.
It's cool. It's
Yeah.
very decentralized, like the way that it's happening.
Yeah. Now I just got to figure out the token strategy to reward people who like contribute to the project. This whole
Cool.
ecosystem is never-ending learning.
You could do maybe like a token system where somebody could, like the utility of the token is you can pay the artists with the token, or the developers or artists with the token, to then build something in the game for you.
That's a fun idea. Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
it's so fun to nerd out and talk to different projects, and just so many cool projects with cool mechanics like every single day.
yeah, there's one project on Wax called Immersis that's doing something similar, where like it's more of like you use the token to pay the Immersis developers to build something in the game for you. But I think it's a cool concept of like you can build something and then earn token from what you had built to then like continue building stuff in the game.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. Another thing on the game, it'll be a massive multiplayer board game where you just basically roll dice to go around and collect coins or lose coins or take them from other people. And we will drop major gifts on the map. And the first person to get to that gift will get it. And it'll
That's
just
cool.
keep repeating that gift. So we'll be able to drop a whole bunch of random stuff, and it'll be 10,000 people racing to get to the gift.
We all say exactly where it is on the map?
We can do ones. We can. Some will be visible. Some will be hidden. So there might be a treasure hunt with clues where you have to like guess where it is and find it. Some will be visible. Some gifts.
Then
Some
even
gifts.
if you answer first, you might not win because you have to get the right dice roll to get there.
Yeah, exactly. And some gifts will be distributed to everybody, all the beasts of the same type. So you have like an incentive to like spread out across the map and like collaborate with other people.
That's cool.
Yeah. So lots of fun mechanics that we're designing with it.
I feel like it'd be way better to do that with other people because I don't know, with a dice roll, it would be hard to get all the way around the map on your own.
Yeah, yeah. So imagine, right? Like if you know there's a major gift coming, like you tell all your bunnies to spread out, and like you might reach somebody and be like, hey, we're missing somebody in the mountains. We need somebody to head over there in case the gift drops there, right? So then you have kind of beast specific chat rooms that I'll have to build for Beastopia.
That would be really cool.
And then the rarer beast will have a disadvantage on being able to get it, but if they get it, they'll get more share because there's less of them.
Yeah. That's really cool. The one-on-ones, like
the one-on-ones, if they get it, they get the whole prize, but they're least likely to get it. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So keep an eye out for that.
Will the one-on-ones still have all of these same traits?
They do.
Yep. Just like pre-built basically traits?
Yep. So they all have the same traits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they all like the top?
Nope. So depending on how you slice and dice them, like which ones will be a good valuable character might change.
That's cool. Yeah. And it'll really depend on what people are building, I guess, too. Like,
yeah,
if a game is built entirely around elements, then so I guess the one-on-ones will still have an element. Will it be like have an element? It'll be a fifth element, right?
No, like the mermaid has water.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. No. I think the woodland elf has earth. Oh. I think I did goblin has fire. So yeah, they have the same elements, just ones that are thematic to what they are. Oh.
So this is like the dice rolls. I think I'm still a little confused on it. So like D4, does that mean I get 4 dice rolls?
No, so those dice rolls are separate from the game dice rolls. The game dice roll, you'll just roll a regular die. You'll get 1 through 6, but there are some mechanics around getting coins that I might use the dice rolls for. So there might be, when you land on a gift space, you'll get coins. I think there's going to be like a D4 gift space where you roll a D4. And then you get to, whichever is higher between your D4 roll and like the roll and your attribute will be the number of coins you get.
That'd be cool. That's similar to Mario Party.
Yeah. So if you have a high D20, you'll get a lot of coins every time you land on a 20, but a D20 gift space, but the D20 gift spaces don't occur as much. But if you have a high D4, if you have a 4 and a D4, you'll just get 4 coins every time you land on a D4. those often occur often.
I could just see like, especially now thinking like the Mario Party side, like if somebody built like where there's a race and you have to race to a certain spot, and then maybe it's like a mini game that pops up for the first like 20 people that get there. That'd be cool.
Yeah, so those mini games can use the D&D character attributes because there's strength, speed, endurance, all those. So we, if somebody wants to build a mini game that pops up in a specific space, they can just build a mini game, refer to an attribute, and you can just embed it into the game. Where the spot becomes a mini game spot, where if they land on it, mini game pops up and they use their attributes.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Um,
I need to make this happen. I get excited about it every single time I talk about it.
yeah. I feel like you could have like entire wars even of like whichever, I don't know, element occupies the most space. Like when something, I don't know, like there's just so much, there's so many attributes you have, and there's just so much to play with.
Yeah, there's a lot. So it's been fun. I have a pretty big document outlining the game.
That's cool. I'm assuming that's gonna become public eventually. I'm excited for that.
I guess so, yeah. I know. Now that I can't stop talking about it, I'll probably just drop the actual game design docs like on the day of or something.
That'd be really cool. That would definitely build some hype.
Yeah, I probably should. It's a good idea.
Right. Is there anything else I should?
No, I mean, I think I would love to get people to jump in on the Discord. We have a good community building, and we're coming out on Friday. So
I can put that in the chat real quick as well. Anybody wants to join the Discord? There is the Discord invite. Sweet. Yeah, I'm in there too now.
awesome.
Trying to think, there's definitely questions I have, but it would really just depend on where development goes. Like it's so open-ended that I don't even know what to ask because I don't know what people will try.
You can ask questions. I'm an open book. I'm happy to answer questions I don't know the answer to.
Let's see.
It's fine if you don't, but if you have actual questions, I'm happy to.
Do with like the different like hats and network or like neckwear even. Have like if everybody holds a necklace, then or maybe it's like a stat buff if somebody designs a game around that.
Yeah.
Or if there's like a chef's pan or something, maybe there's a cooking game that somebody could.
We can create items, right? So I think some of the items I have in mind are like bigger dice, so that you can move more spaces during a turn. You can do protection charms and spells from like natural disasters that might freeze you.
Could you affect other players? That could be something cool if you could like.
Yeah, right now,
person.
The way it's designed, what I have in mind is that if enough people land on a space, it becomes purchasable, and then if you land on a space, you tax people who land on it afterwards. So there's a monopoly piece to it.
Yeah.
But then there's natural disasters that can wipe out all property and turn them back into the original type of property, which means it's a risk to buy it, especially on risky flood zones, whatnot.
So if it flooded, do you lose the property or just lose what?
You lose the property and it just turns into a normal property. You have to go buy it again if you want to. But you could have a protection. You can have a protection charm that might protect your properties from floods.
That's cool. Will they be NFTs or will they be like centralized assets?
I think the items should be NFTs. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So that would probably make sense as a drop.
Yeah.
Again, like for anyone listening, this is not a roadmap. This is just me brainstorming out loud as I try to make it come into play. But hopefully that's what's exciting about the project.
Yeah, I think that is exciting. Like, not really knowing what's going to be built, but since it's open source, like, there's no reason for people not to build stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything's there at your fingertips.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm excited to see like the gamified chat room. Yeah. So will I be able to like direct message people here as well? I'm guessing since it's
no, I don't have direct messaging built into it yet. I wanted to, but it's a. Could I get it ready by Friday? No, probably not.
Yeah.
When I started building, I was staying up every night for like 2 or 3 hours a night, like after I got all my kids down building, and I crashed for a little bit. So now I scaled back to staying up once every other night to build.
That's still a lot of work.
It's still a lot of work, but it's fun. I enjoy it, and I'm learning a lot. So that was always the goal.
That's awesome.
Oh,
And teaching a lot too. I feel like,
nope.
yeah. Because I mean, if it's like open source, you're teaching without having to actually be there as the teacher.
Yeah. And then I'm posting, the process of my learnings in the Discord along the way, and I'll keep sharing the process and decisions I have to make. That's what I really love about kind of the space, is just how much authenticity is valued.
Yeah.
I feel like in other corporate environments, you have to be so secretive about like what you share versus what not, because you need to. And here, in the NFT space, like just the more honest you are, the more cred you get.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because it's one of few spaces where you could have total anonymity.
Yep.
But like it's almost like the fact that you can have that anonymity makes it so much more important to be who you are and reject the anonymity sort of.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But
which is
even
like,
anonymous people are very authentic about who they are, right?
yeah, that as well.
Yeah. No, it's such a fun space to be a part of.
Yeah, I guess it's more of like being, I want to say consistent, but I don't know if that's the right word. Being like your own personality.
Yeah,
It doesn't
just
even have
like
to be your identity, but like,
yeah, it's just be yourself, right? Be true to yourself, and yeah, no BS.
one thing that would be cool is if there was like a streaming platform in here sort of thing where like you had to own the NFTs to come in and watch the stream or
Yeah, so we'll probably do stuff like that. So right now, like in the initial hack, so until we find all the token gated tools, the hack we're using is essentially just building private links for events and putting it in Beastopia. So the initial Beast
that
up,
way like, Beastopia is
yeah.
the
So the initial weekly Beast ups, we're using a tool that technically isn't token gated, but I can create a unique link each week, and that link will be in Beastopia. And then eventually you'll be able to log in with MetaMask. But until then, we can set up private Zooms, webinars, talks, and just list it in Beastopia.
that's cool.
Yeah.
And I guess people could share, but I feel like
Yeah, people can share.
it's gonna be a
It's
strong
okay.
community.
Eventually, everything will be token gated, but until then, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, sharing the link would be like sharing your Netflix password. People will be sharing their PixelBeasts to get into Beastopia, and if it's not the worst problem to have.
Yeah. Honestly,
Yeah,
the people want to be in there.
yeah, exactly. It's good. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah. I feel bad.
No,
Deeper and I'll come up with more questions. I feel like I'm definitely have more questions as more gets developed.
I know it's hard. It's hard to dig in without having seen the project live. Once the project goes live, we can always catch up anytime too.
Yeah, definitely when the game comes out, I'd like to have you on stream again to pick your brain about that
All
because
right.
that's really cool.
Yeah. I have some good leads. I'm excited to get a prototype out. Hopefully, quick sooner than later.
Awesome. So I just realized there's stuff in the private chat.
Anyways,
Yeah. Is there anything you wanted to maybe say before we?
yeah. I mean, yeah. So yeah, I mean, check out the project. We got 10,000 pieces coming out Friday at 8:30 a.m. There's a couple ways to get early bird that you might be able to find in the Discord if you want to jump in. We are, the core community is VCs, founders, developers who are interested in building utilities for NFTs. So if you're any of those, or if you have your own collection and you're just interested about like what are the utility options I have for my collection, I think it's yeah, jump on in and come and learn alongside us. We're here to learn. It's a new space. I think none of us know where it's going to be 12 months from now. So hopefully we can stick together and figure it out together as we go.
Awesome. Yeah, and thanks everybody for joining today and for watching. We always appreciate the support. And thank you for coming on to share what you're building. I think it's be really cool to see all of the like community support that it's going to be built off of.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you should
awesome.
definitely get one and jump on in.
Yeah, we'll do on Friday.
Cool. Awesome.
Friday, 8:30 a.m. and it's Pacific time, right?
Yep.
Awesome. All right.
Cool.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thanks, everyone.